a lot of diets have you focusing on some of the physical aspects of things that may help you become successful. So when we think about diet rigidity, we think of keto, restricting carbohydrates, or like fasting, restricting meal timing so that you're not hungry throughout the day, or you're pushing back your meals or something like that. All of these rules, these criteria that they give you, a part of that diet, are essentially a way to overcome the physical aspects of what happens when we diet. A lot of people forget about the most important aspect, which is the psychology of what happens when we're dieting. Anything that comes from a perspective of restriction, where you're not allowed to have or partake in something, leads to us feeling that restriction, and it creates this diet fatigue. We've got a lot of research showing this. We've got evidence that people, after being told that they can't have something, even when they were able to have it before, and they ate the same amount of total food, they actually slowed down their weight loss or increased their perceived amount of stress when it came to this. And so, in part and parcel of what's going on is a lot of diets, when they set up those criteria or those rigid rules based around overcoming some of the physical aspects of that, they're trying to overcome some of the aspects that just naturally happen when you're dieting. So the increases in hunger by restricting carbohydrates. If you can't eat the foods that you normally overeat on, then likely you're going to increase the amount of vegetables or something like that you would eat, therefore offsetting some hunger aspects and stuff when that happens. But what no one's teaching you or no one's helping you understand is that part of dieting is having those experiences, and the other part of them is having an inclusion mindset, having an ability to pick and choose and allow all of those foods to be there, which will then allow you to feel not restricted. And having a diet that doesn't restrict foods leads to you being able to sustain your weight loss a lot easier. Now, one of the biggest reasons that there is weight regain is because they've had this restriction mindset. They've been told that they can't have something, or that this can't fit, diet, like alcohol can't fit, you can't eat out, you can't go hang out with friends for the next 12 weeks. And so because of that, the body is in this pendulum swing of compensation, and when you're getting results, the body is swinging one way, and then when you finish, the swing wants to come back. And as it's coming back, that's all the psychological cravings, all the stresses, all the burdens that you were having before. Well, now, when there's no set timeline, when there's no target, when there's no accountability to someone from that diet perspective, or that diet coach, or whoever gave you that rule, there's now none of that accountability, and all of a sudden you're encouraged or allowed to overeat in an attempt to regain all that energy. Because essentially your body's going, holy crap, what the hell did you just do to me? Why are we starving? I don't want to do this. How do we get more of that energy back? And generally we actually gain more than the amount that we lose. There's an overgain that happens with this. And so we see this over and over again. And it's largely because of these restrictive diets. There's these restrictive mindsets when it comes to how you approach these diets and what you do during it, and then how you approach that phase after it, the life after dieting. If you do it from an inclusion mindset, you're leagues are far from like having those issues happening to you. But if you have it from the restriction mindset, you really will suffer. It's just, we just see it over and over again, and it's now just so commonplace that we can kind of pick when it's going to happen. So if you've ever struggled with weight regaining again, that's why you've got a restrictive diet as opposed to an inclusive diet, and you want to be changing that.